The weather looks nice again today. The temperature's been staying consistent over the past couple of days, I guess, huh? Well, that in mind, what did I read today? How about this first one, which was really interesting? One of you actually brought it to my attention, but your comment got eaten by the filter, so I was able to actually see this just yesterday. So I did some research, and apparently there was a situation where a person claims that he bought a DJI Mavic 4 Pro to bring to the US, and because of that, when he tried to go through customs and all that, he was basically told they would have to confiscate his drone, and as well, they revoked his US visa. So what's going on here, huh? So there was various information posted online from the individual apparently to show this is real. And as the story goes, apparently he purchased a DJI Mavic 4 Pro from DJI. That's what the claim is, where the company reassured him that the drone was perfectly legal to bring to the US. He just needs to do things, for example, like the FAA licensing stuff in order to be able to fly the drone, which apparently he claims he did anyways. And with this, he brought it to the US. It apparently passed through, I guess, the first phase. But afterwards, the US Customs said, nope, they're basically taking it away. As you know too, there's currently all that proposal to ban DJI products, and the company's having issues getting their products to US store shelves to the point where apparently they're not even carrying them anymore, a lot of the newer models and stuff anyways. So let's start with this in terms of the post that was made. It claims here at about the end of June 2025, the person ordered a DJI Mavic 4 Pro drone, and he said he was planning to travel to the US in July. He received the equipment and he was explicitly told that the purchase can be used in the US, like the product in general, like the drone. And according to this anyways, the person claims that the company that sold him this product, he claims it's DJI directly, told him specifically he needs to get an FAA license in order to fly this. And you can imagine he probably has to go for the full Part 107 as well. And it says upon entering the US, one of the officers stamped his entry and he was allowed to proceed, I guess, through the first security check. However, afterwards, another official actually told him that the drone violated US laws, and during that moment, he was actually arguing, I suppose, with the custom officials on why he was told it was legal and all that. And you can imagine when you're losing thousands of dollars of equipment, anyone would be upset. And it seems like as a result of that, I suppose, of the whole incident, they apparently revoked his US visa for him and his whole family, apparently. Like, wow, what's going on, huh? So after returning home, he was basically a really disgruntled customer posting stuff online, as you can see, as proof. And because of that, he wants, I guess, retribution from the company. For example, I guess, compensation for all his financial losses and all that. And to further that, apparently it says if they don't, I guess, compensate him, he'll take legal actions. And this isn't just the drone itself in terms of monetary value. As mentioned, the claim is his entire family lost his US visa because of this. Now, what's the reason? Apparently, US Customs and Border Protection has, I guess, the right to do that if they determine that the visa holder violates US laws, provided false information, or poses a security risk. I would imagine it has to partly do with the fact that if that's true, where he was arguing back in wanting the drone, for example, that probably escalated the situation, versus if they just took it, he probably would have just left with the financial loss. Now, was this guy a quote spy? It doesn't seem like it overall anyways from what I'm reading, but still, that's a crazy situation, and it makes you wonder, does that mean anyone who brings a DJI drone in the US is going to potentially have these kinds of issues where people will say, nope, that is illegal, and they'll confiscate it, for example? I guess one thing is too, he didn't seem like he declared the actual drone. Like maybe he just left it in his carry-on bag, for example, where people found out about it afterwards. So if you are gonna bring it over, you better go through all the appropriate, I guess, forms and so forth to make sure it's perfectly okay. Especially again, with all those geopolitical issues, huh? The only thing I could imagine, it could be a lost in translation type of thing, where if that's true, he talked to the company, they could have said, for example, oh, look, our drone is legal to fly in the US, and here is this to actually prove, for example, it has like all these functionalities and so forth. Whereas that doesn't necessarily mean you can bypass like the license and all that. It would be no difference in saying, for example, in this regards, hey, this car or whatever meets all the specifications to be legal on the road, but you still need to get a license. I guess that would be potentially what happened. But this kind of shows how serious the situation is in the US in general, in terms of things like DJI or Chinese-made drones in general potentially getting banned. So does this mean you're going to have to worry yourself if you're traveling to the US with, let's just say, a Chinese-made drone? Again, it seems like in this case, the person didn't go through all of the proper procedures overall, like not declaring the drone in general. It seems like, I'm guessing, he just put it in his backpack, for example, or carry-on versus actually declaring it officially. But that's kind of crazy, huh? What would you think of this? And then this was kind of a crazy read where apparently there are influencers online posting videos in order to recruit, I guess, people to go work for drone factories in Russia, but I guess they're kind of ignorant about it, and as a result, they're getting backlash. Like, this says TikTok influencers apologize for campaign enticing South African women to drone factory jobs in Russia. A deceptive campaign to lure young South African women into jobs at a Russian military drone factory has ignited a firestorm of criticism, sparking stern government warnings and a public backlash against the TikTok stars who promoted the campaign. South Africa's Ministry for Women and Youth said it was gravely concerned about the Russian-led social media campaign which targeted women between the ages of 18 and 22. The ministry urged young people to be vigilant and exercise extreme caution. The controversy erupted this past weekend after a popular South African social media influencer posted TikTok and Instagram videos that painted a glowing picture of a Russian recruitment scheme. Apparently, girls are treated fairly here, Sayan Boji said as she strolled through a Russian industrial park. Africans, Asians, Latin Americans, they're given housing, jobs, and on top of that, they are taught how to speak Russian, she said. Imagine being that, I guess, oblivious to what the heck you are actually promoting, which actually happens a lot, where companies just go up to someone, they say, hey, we want you to do a video of this, we'll pay you whatever it is, like $5,000, $2,000, sound good? They'll be like, okay, and they just basically post it up. I know on some channels, actually, you could have a person who does something, for example, let's just say it's animation, but then all of a sudden, out of random, they get like this, I don't know, like propaganda documentary posted on their actual page. It's like, what in the world? There, you know for sure the guy took a lot of money to post that. I know they say it's common with politics, actually, where they pay people to say certain things and all that too. I mean, in that regards, I'm not too surprised. All right, see you guys later.